Hello everyone, my name is Kevin and welcome to Know Your Deets. What have I told you? There's a festival where people wrestle with their toes. A town that celebrates a single people by dousing them in cinnamon. And families who lovingly dance with their dead. Around the world, humans have come up with some truly jaw-dropping traditions. Some beautiful, some bizarre, and all deeply meaningful in their own ways. Buckle up, because we're about to take you on a whirlwind tour of 30 of the world's strangest, most fascinating cultural rituals. And trust me, you won't look at radishes, cheese, or funerals the same way again. Goat Throwing Festival, Spain. So here's one that makes most people say, wait, they did what? In a now-banned tradition from the town of Manganese de la Pallarasa, Spain, villagers used to toss a live goat from the top of a church tower. Below, a crowd with a tarp ready to catch it like a bizarre trust fall. The origins are hazy. Some say it was symbolic of a local miracle. Others chalk it up to local eccentricity. Thankfully, this gravity-defying practice was stopped for animal welfare reasons. Still, it remains one of Spain's most eyebrow-raising historical customs. And while that goat was suspended in midair, in another part of the world, dancing bones are the main event. Dancing with the dead, Madagascar. In Madagascar, the Malagasy people practice family dahana, or the turning of the bones. Every 5 to 7 years, families open ancestral tombs, remove the rot remains of their loved ones, and, quite literally, dance with them. Music blares, people laugh and celebrate life as they rewrap the bones in fresh cloth. It's a joyful reunion with the departed, a moment where death isn't feared, but embraced with rhythm and reverence, which takes us from warm celebrations to cold farewells. Ice coffins, Norway. Back when refrigeration was still the stuff of science fiction, Norwegians found a frosty solution: natural ice coffins. In mountainous regions, especially during brutal winters, the deceased were laid to rest inside of ice caves or frozen lakes until burial was possible. The cold preserved them with a quiet dignity. It's both haunting and beautiful, like nature stepping in as a stand-in for time itself. But if you're craving something a bit more muddy than icy, Boryung Mud Festival, South Korea. Welcome to South Korea's most delightfully messy summer celebration, the Boryung Mud Festival. Originally launched to promote mineral-rich cosmetics from local mud flats, the event quickly turned into a mud-soaked free-for-all. We're talking mud slides, mud wrestling, mud obstacle courses, and even mud massages. It's dirty, it's loud, and it's outrageously fun. And hey, your skin might even thank you for it. And speaking of messy traditions, let's throw in some cinnamon for good measure. Throwing cinnamon at singles, Denmark. In Denmark, turning 25 without being married earned you a spicy surprise. Friends sneak up, armed with cinnamon, bags and bags of it, and douse the birthday person in a fragrant fairy cloud. There's no malice, just a heaping spoonful of peer pressure and playful teasing. If you make it to 30 and you're still single, they might switch to pepper. It's Denmark's way of saying, congrats, you're fabulous and flammable. Gurning contest, England. Let's start with a face only a mother could love, on purpose. In rural England, particularly at the Egerman Crab Fair, people compete in gurning, a contest where the goal is to contort your face into the most grotesque, ridiculous expression imaginable. Think bulging eyes, twisted mouths, faces folded in on themselves. There's even a World Gurning Championship where false teeth often come out to enhance jaw flexibility. It's part comedy, part community pride, and all facial absurdity. From crunched up faces to full body soaks. Water Gun Festival, Thailand. Thailand's Songkran Festival takes water fights to another level. Actually, the entire country turns into one. Songkran marks the Thai New Year, and traditionally, people would pour water over elders' hands as a symbol of cleansing. That's evolved. Now it's super soakers, buckets, even elephants spraying water down city streets. For 3 days in mid-April, there's no such thing as staying dry. It's joyful, refreshing, and honestly one of the world's most epic public parties. And while the splashes in Thailand are all in good fun, in parts of India, things take to the skies. Baby tossing, India. Yes, this one raises eyebrows and heart rates. In some regions of India, particularly in Karnataka, a centuries-old ritual involves gently tossing babies from temple rooftops, usually about 30 feet high, onto sheets held outstretched by a crowd below. The belief? That it brings health, luck, and divine blessings. The babies are carefully caught, and there's no known record of harm. But still, imagine the adrenaline of your first memory being mid-air flight. Today, it's largely symbolic, if practiced at all, but remains a striking example of how cultures connect faith with rites of passage. From tossing for luck to something more spitty. Spitting for good luck, Greece. Yep, you might want to duck when someone in Greece wishes you well. Toot, toot, toot. It's not rude, it's tradition. Greeks believe that spitting wards off bad spirits, and symbolic spitting, usually 3 times, is often done when offering congratulations, blessings, or protection. So if a Greek grandmother showers you with praise and follows it up with a trio of pretend spits, don't be offended. She's just trying to keep evil at bay. And speaking of blessing traditions, the next one involves bidding on brides. Wife auction, Bulgaria. In some parts of Bulgaria, the Roma community holds a fascinating matchmaking ritual that outsiders often misunderstand. Young women, often dressed to impress, parade through open-air gatherings while potential grooms or their families negotiate marriage terms. It's less about objectification and more about courtship and tradition, with parental involvement for sure. While customs are evolving with modern times, the event still happens in places like Stara Zagora, blending spectacle with centuries of cultural practice. Jumping over fire, Iran. First up, we've got flames. Not metaphorical ones, actual ones. In Iran, the festival of Shana Suri kicks off the Persian New Year with people leaping over bonfires. As they jump, they chant phrases like, "Give me your fiery strength and take away my sickness." It's a symbolic cleanse, a passing of the bad into the fire, and a reclaiming of energy, health, and good fortune. The night blazes with dancing, music, and sparks flying, both literal and spiritual. But if you think jumping fire is intense, just wait until we talk about babies and trees. Dead baby tree burial, Indonesia. Among the Toraja people in Indonesia, death rituals are layered and sacred, even for the youngest lives. When a baby dies before they've grown their first teeth, the family may place the child's body inside the trunk of a living tree. Over time, the bark heals over the opening, as if the child is absorbed into the tree itself. The belief is that the spirit continues growing with the tree, a powerful, quiet return to nature that's both heartbreaking and deeply poetic. And from nature's embrace to nature's sting. Stinging nettles eating, England. This one's not for the faint of heart or tongue. Each year in Dorset, England, brave souls gather for the World Nettle Eating Championship. Yes, nettles, as in the leaves that sting you with tiny hairs full of formic acid. Contestants strip the stalks and eat them raw, leaf after leaf, lips swelling and eyes watering, all in the name of endurance and, frankly, bragging rights. It's weird, painful, and utterly thrilling to watch. Now, if you thought that was hardcore, imagine honoring your loved ones by eating their ashes. Eating the ashes of the dead. Brazil and Venezuela. Among the Yanomami people of Brazil and Venezuela, endocannibalism was once a way to show their deepest respect. After cremation, family members would mix the ashes of the deceased with fermented bananas or soup and consume the mixture. It wasn't about survival or shock, it was spiritual. By eating the ashes, they believed the soul could live on within them, preserved through love and memory. It's one of the most intimate and philosophical ways humans have tried to stay connected to the departed. And finally, a festival where death itself becomes a guest of honor. The Festival of Near-Death Experiences, Spain. In the village La Nieve, Spain, people who survived near-death experiences, whether from illness, accident, or sheer luck, climb into coffins and attend their own funerals. Carried to the streets by pallbearers, they get a second chance to witness their own wake, complete with candles and prayers. It's emotional, a bit eerie, and oddly life-affirming. Because what better way to celebrate life than by pretending to leave it? From exploding hammers in Mexico to icy burials in Norway, we've just scratched the surface of how creative and deeply human our global traditions can be. Some make you laugh, some make you gasp, and a few just might move you to tears. If you learned something new or raised an eyebrow or two, hit that like button, subscribe for more curious content, and share this with someone who needs to know what a gurning contest is. And hey, what's your favorite cultural tradition? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, thank you for watching, stay curious, and you have a great day.